Disneyland is probably my favorite theme park of all time. Recently, we started discussing the biggest problem with every single ride at a bunch of theme parks, but I started with Disneyland. I figured it would be appropriate to start another series of videos discussing the best aspect of every single ride at multiple theme parks, and of course we're going to start with Disneyland. So this park got its turn on the hot seat, and now it's time to flip the script and look at the best of the best within my favorite park of all time. Before we get started, please like this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite aspects are of your favorite rides at Disneyland. What is your favorite aspect of your least favorite ride at Disneyland? I would love to hear down in the comments below. Of course, please like this video and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate the support. So starting things off in Main Street, the only Main Street attraction that we're going to discuss in this video is the Disneyland Railroad. So the railroad is pretty straightforward. It's got 4 stops, one in Main Street, one in New Orleans Square, one in Toon Town, and one in Tomorrowland. But my favorite aspect of the Disneyland Railroad is the dinosaur show scene. It's very, very impressive visually. Some of those animatronics are pretty large scale, and it's kind of hidden. Like, they do kind of advertise it at Main Street and in Tomorrowland, but like, unless you know about it beforehand, you don't really get much warning. Like, all of a sudden the train just transforms into a dark ride, which is really, really cool. I also really appreciate the views of the Rivers of America. I love the Rivers of America at Disneyland. It's like my favorite area of the park, and it's way more pretty than the river in Magic Kingdom, especially now that the one in Magic Kingdom is a construction site. But again, the railroad is the only attraction we will be discussing for Main Street. Moving over to Tomorrowland, we're gonna start things off with Star Tours. This is one of 2 Star Wars simulators within the park. This was the original. It kind of blows my mind that Star Tours is older than Splash Mountain, so it has now outlived Splash Mountain, which is kind of crazy. But by far the best aspect of Star Tours is the mix of ride films. It makes the attraction very, very re-rideable, and it's the biggest selling point for Star Tours over the other Star Wars simulator in the park that we will talk about later, at least for now. We'll see if that changes or when that changes in the future. But for now, that's definitely Star Tours' biggest selling point. I also appreciate having an animatronic within the simulator cabin. I feel like C-3PO turning around to talk to you over and over again does add a great dynamic to the experience. Right across from Star Tours is Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. So I grew up riding this ride. I loved Toy Story as a kid. I love spinning the ride vehicles. I love the sets. They're very, very charming. I really appreciate that they know what Zurg sounds like in this attraction. Space Ranger spin. But my favorite aspect of Astro Blasters is the shooting. I know some people complain that it's too difficult or too hard, but I think it makes it more engaging compared to just shooting at screens. Like, as much as I love Toy Story Midway Mania and other screen-based shooting dark rides, I get that boost of serotonin whenever the gun lights up, indicating that you hit one of the targets, you know? So I really appreciate that. Right in between Star Tours and Astro Blasters is Astro Orbiter. My favorite aspect of Astro Orbiter is the views of the castle. It is very pretty. It's a pretty generic ride system, but I do think it's a very interesting structure. It's very visually appealing just to watch. Like, I have a ton of Astro Orbiter footage, but in terms of on-ride, the best aspect of it is looking out and seeing the castle. Moving to the back half of Tomorrowland, Autopia is my least favorite attraction in the entire resort, but I will say that I do really appreciate the trees around the attraction. It makes the ride experience infinitely more pleasant than Tomorrowland Speedway at Magic Kingdom. Both of these rides are terrible, but the greenery, the nature of Autopia makes it way, way, way better. Much more pleasant to drive through trees than a grass field. Right next door to Autopia is the monorail. So this has 2 stops. The first one is in Tomorrowland, of course, and the second one is near the Disneyland Hotel within downtown Disney. I will say that my favorite aspect of the monorail is the views. You have a beautiful view of DCA when you cross into the boundary of that park. Also, when you're coming back from downtown Disney, you have an amazing view of Main Street right in front of the train station, and you can even see the castle. So I really, really, really appreciate that. Another one of my least favorite attractions in the entire resort is Finding Nemo's Submarine Voyage. I actually rewrote this for the first time like a week or two ago. Like, I have not been on this attraction in years, so it was kind of interesting to get back on it. My favorite aspect of the attraction is the bubbles and and the waterfalls, like they disrupt the water that you can see, so it makes it look like the ride vehicle is diving deeper and deeper underneath the ocean, even though if you just look up you can see the water line, but we're gonna ignore that for this video. The bubble effect is really cool, especially at the beginning of the attraction. By far the best ride experience within Tomorrowland is of course Space Mountain. This attraction does a lot of things well. I love the sense of speed and I love the laterals, especially for this version. There's so many moments where it shoves you to the side, especially the last turn. A lot of this ride experience is made up of right-hand turns that throw you to the left, but the very last turn before the final brake run is a left-hand turn that'll throw you to the right, so that kind of catches you off guard. That being said though, by far my favorite aspect of Space Mountain is the music. It matches perfectly with the layout, with the atmosphere, with the ride experience, and it's just beautiful. And the music is why Classic Space Mountain will always be my favorite iteration of this attraction. Moving over to the land with the most amount of attractions, we're going to talk about Fantasyland, starting things off with Dumbo the Flying Elephant. So this is basically the exact same ride system as Astro Orbiter in Tomorrowland. My favorite aspect about Dumbo in particular is the fountains at the base of the attraction. It's just so much more visually appealing than the empty valley that Astro Orbiter loads and unloads in. It's very cute, very charming. I really appreciate it. Moving to the back half of Fantasyland for a second, we're going to talk about Small World. So this is a very charming attraction. It's a Disney original experience. Like when you think of Disneyland, one of the first attractions you think of is probably Small World. It's just ingrained with the park's identity and with the Disney legacy. But my favorite aspect of Small World is the facade. It's so visually appealing. It's very cool to look at. It dominates that corner of the entire park. It's pretty iconic. Like it's literally an icon for the park. And it absolutely demolishes the Small World at Magic Kingdom. Let's run through some of these classic dark rides, starting with Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. My favorite aspect of this attraction is the train visual. Like it really looks like a train is gonna hit you. The lighting is very well done, so it's kind of creepy. Plus your ride vehicle is going over some wooden planks, so you feel the clanking of driving over wood. That really adds to the visual. It's very cool. It's very smart. It's a very well done effect in my opinion. Next door to Mr. Toad is Peter Pan's Flight. This is probably one of the most overrated Disney attractions out there, but I still say that the best aspect of the attraction is the ride system, because for like pretty much any other dark ride, you're gonna be looking up at all of the visuals, all of the set design, but for Peter Pan, of course, you will be looking down because it is a suspended ride vehicle, and the ride vehicles themselves are very charming. I really appreciate the design. I'm pretty sure the ride vehicle is like half of the reason why Peter Pan is as popular as it is. Right across from Peter Pan is Snow White's Enchanted Wish. This used to be Snow White's Scary Adventures, but they recently changed it. But my favorite aspect of this attraction dates back to the Scary Adventure days. It's the evil queen transition into the old hag. It's very well done. It's very visually appealing. And of course, it is literally a turning point within the story of the attraction. I actually have a whole video dedicated to Enchanted Wish, in case you are curious. Next door to Snow White is Pinocchio's Daring Journey. Now, it's no secret that I am a theme park fan, so I am really a sucker for the theme park imagery within the Pleasure Island sequence of this attraction. I think it's very charming. It's intentionally creepy. It was Walt Disney's critique of theme parks, or amusement parks, I should say, before Disneyland. And as someone who enjoys like Six Flags parks, for example, I still find this very charming, and to some degree it's true. The final classic dark ride within Fantasyland is of course Alice in Wonderland. My favorite aspect of this attraction is the game of croquet. It starts with an animatronic figure of the Queen of Hearts, of course playing croquet. Then there's a projection sequence where her ball like hits a tree or something, and then she's furious. And the projections behind the furious Queen of Hearts are really cool. It's a very charming sequence and I really appreciate it. In the center of all of these classic dark rides is King Arthur Carousel. And of course, my favorite aspect of this attraction is the music. The music for this carousel is pretty much the soundtrack for this entire corner of Fantasyland. Like, it's very loud, so you can hear it when you're in line for Mr. Toad, when you're in line for Peter Pan, Pinocchio's Daring Journey, or of course when you're just walking through that area behind the castle, you will hear the music of King Arthur Carousel. It's a very charming ride experience as well. Right behind King Arthur Carousel is Casey Jr. Circus Train. This is another one of my least favorite attractions in the park. It's not for me, so it is what it is, but by far my favorite aspect of it is when Casey Jr. is going up the lift hill, it plays and I just think that's really charming. It's definitely my favorite moment within the attraction. Right below Casey Jr. Circus Train is the Storybook Land Canal Boats. This is another very charming Disney experience. My favorite moment within this attraction is the Cave of Wonders, because it gives a little bit of a diversity to this attraction, because the rest of it is all outdoors, of course. Next up is the Mad Tea Party. This is a very iconic teacups ride. It's probably the most iconic teacups ride in the entire world, if we're being honest. My favorite aspect of this attraction is how atmospheric it is. It really adds kinetic energy and just energy in general to this corner of Fantasyland. I really appreciate its existence. But by far my favorite attraction within Fantasyland is Matterhorn bobsleds. I just got a fireworks ride on Matterhorn after it reopened from its refurbishment. Oh my gosh, it's like the best thing ever. But that's a very like hyper specific example. Try to ride Matterhorn during the fireworks. It's like the coolest thing ever, I swear. But in terms of just a normal ride on Matterhorn, my favorite aspect is this sequence right here on the Tomorrowland track where you blitz by the first Abominable Snowman animatronic and then you get really close to some of the rock work. There's some crazy laterals. It's very forceful, very fun. It's just such a great moment on this attraction. I love the Matterhorn. It's one of my favorite rides in the park. The next land we are moving to is Toon Town. Starting things off with Chippendale's Gadget Coaster. I think it's really cool that this is a cloned layout worked into like rock work. I think that's really well done, because you can find this ride pretty much anywhere, but the thing that makes Gadget Coaster stand out is its integration within the land and of course the very charming theming. So I greatly appreciate that. On the other side of Toon Town is Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. This attraction is very unique because it has spinning ride vehicles, and because it has spinning ride vehicles, 360 degrees of the attraction is themed. So you can spin, you can go through the whole thing backwards and you can see theming. So that's really well done. Very cool, very unique. By far the best attraction within Toon Town though is of course Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I love this dark ride. It's so cool, so charming. It has a very heartwarming ending with the picnic scene. But honestly, I think the best aspect of the attraction is reconnecting with Goofy's train. It brings the experience full circle, and then it leads directly into that heartwarming ending. So it's very well thought out, very well done in my opinion. Over on the other side of the park is Adventureland and Indiana Jones. This is another one of the best attractions in the park. It is so cool. There's so many amazing aspects. Of course, I can only pick one. Some things I considered were the projections on Mara's face. Those look so cool, and there's 3 different sequences for the 3 different treasures you could possibly receive from Mara. I also really love the reveal of Mara as the ride vehicle falls down steps. It looks so cool. That room is massive and it's so well themed. The ride system itself is very unique, and it like makes the entire attraction, because even though it goes like 14 miles an hour, it's very much a thrill ride. But my favorite aspect of Indiana Jones Adventure is the boulder. Of course, when it works. When it doesn't work, it's a really big buzzkill, but when it is working, it's like one of the most impressive visuals on any dark ride ever. Any theme park ride ever, honestly. Right next to Indiana Jones Adventure is the Jungle Cruise, and this is actually pretty funny because my favorite aspect of Jungle Cruise was actually what I used for my least favorite aspect, my biggest problem with Jungle Cruise. It's the skippers. I truly believe they are the wild card for this attraction. They are both the best and worst thing about it, because a skipper can totally make your ride experience, or they can make the ride experience fall flat, you know? And I think that's the charm of Jungle Cruise. That's what makes it what it is, you know? So it's a very unique attraction, and of course it is an opening day attraction at Disneyland, which is very, very cool as well. Moving on to my favorite land in the entire park, we're going to talk about New Orleans Square. I absolutely love the attractions here, starting with Pirates of the Caribbean. This is such a long ride. It is incredibly long. It's got to be the longest in the park. I don't think I've timed it, but there's no way it's not. It's incredibly long. The 2 drops are towards the beginning of the ride experience, and by the time you're going up the final lift hill, it's hard to remember that the drops were even part of the same ride experience. It's an absolutely humongous attraction. Like, it's kind of hard to process. But my favorite moment within the ride experience is the ship battle. That set piece is huge. It's ginormous, and it's very, very visually appealing. It's very iconic, and it is my favorite aspect of the attraction. Right across from Pirates is the Haunted Mansion, which, if you know me, you know that it's my favorite attraction within the park. It's one of my favorite attractions of all time. It's gonna be very hard for me just to pick one thing about it as the best aspect of it, because I love so much about the attraction. I love the whole thing pretty much. I love how it's both scary and fun. The first half is much more scary, especially starting in the stretching room, which I love the stretching room. That's a very big contender to be the best aspect of the attraction. It's so well done, it's so well written, it's so well delivered, and the visual is very impressive of the room stretching, and then of course the climax is seeing a body hanging from the rafters, which of course is very scary, and by the time you reach the end of the attraction, you are in a graveyard full of singing and dancing ghosts. So it's perfectly balanced, it's very well done. The Pepper's ghost effect, especially in the ballroom, is so impressive, very visually appealing. It's a total spectacle with the scale of the ballroom, and just seeing those ghosts disappear and reappear, it's amazing. But I think I have to be a little generic and say my favorite aspect of the Haunted Mansion is the Hatbox Ghost. He's so cool. It's amazing that they brought him back. The effect works so well. I've stared at him for so long, I don't even know where his head goes, you know? It's incredible. Absolutely love the Hatbox Ghost. Love the attraction as a whole, of course. Right next door to New Orleans Square and the Haunted Mansion is Bayou Country and Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I've talked about this attraction a lot on this channel, but I do think it's pretty clear what the best aspect of it is, and that of course is the animatronics when they work, especially the finale animatronics. Tiana and Louis look absolutely amazing when they're working, but it's so cool. The Bayou sequence after the first drop has so many cool animatronics as well. Most of them are Tiana and Louis. I actually have a full video ranking the animatronics within Tiana's Bayou Adventure, so you should check that out if you have not already. Moving on to Davy Crockett Explorer Canoes. My favorite part of this attraction are the tour guides. They're actually like pretty underrated. Like low-key, they're better than the Jungle Cruise skippers because they don't really have much of a script. They can just kind of say whatever, and more often than not, I think that leads to a better experience. So like the canoes are pretty underrated, and it is carried by the tour guide. I really appreciate those cast members. And the final attraction within Bayou Country is an attraction that doesn't belong in Bayou Country. It is the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. This is another very charming dark ride. This park is absolutely loaded with charming dark rides. But my favorite aspect of Winnie the Pooh are the Heffalumps and Woozles. It's by far the most visually impressive sequence within the attraction. So colorful, so much energy. It's very different from the rest of the ride experience, and it's what sets this attraction apart from other dark rides within the park. On the other side of the Rivers of America is Frontierland. The biggest and best attraction in this land is of course Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. By far my favorite aspect of this roller coaster is this airtime head chop drop. It's very cool. I've actually stuck my hand out and touched this like bar that goes across right here, which you probably shouldn't do, but whatever. It's a fun airtime moment, especially when you're in the back. I also really love the final lift. It's a very cool show scene. Frontierland is also home to the loading dock for the Mark Twain riverboat. By far my favorite aspect of that attraction are the different levels, which provide different views of the Rivers of America and the lands around the Rivers of America, including New Orleans Square and Bayou Country. So that is very cool. That same dock also is home to the sailing ship Columbia. The Columbia only has the one level, but it does have a cannon, and that cannon is pretty dang cool. And finally, we're moving on to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which of course is the newest land within Disneyland. There are two major attractions within this area of the park. starting with Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which of course is the other Star Wars simulator in this park. But by far my favorite aspect of this attraction, at least as of now, is the pre-show animatronic. Hondo Ohnaka looks absolutely amazing. He's a very, 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 very cool animatronic figure, and he's like constantly moving, like he's always in guest view. And of course, the other attraction within Galaxy's Edge is Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, which is probably my favorite dark ride of all time. Or one of my favorite dark rides of all time. It's really hard to say. It might not even be my favorite in the park, but whatever. My favorite moment within Rise of the Resistance is the reveal of the AT-ATs as you're escaping the stormtroopers that are shooting at you. It's such a jaw-dropping visual, and the music is swelling. It just gives me chills. It's absolutely incredible. I also really, really respect, and I'm in awe of the technology of the finale. Like, this attraction is a trackless dark ride, which on its own is a technological marvel. It's a visual spectacle. And then they put those trackless dark rides into a drop tower that's also a simulator. And that's what gets you from the Star Destroyer back down to Batuu. That is unbelievable. That is unreal. It's by far my favorite aspect of Rise of the Resistance. It's very, 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 very cool. But I don't know. I love those AT-ATs, man. I also love the Kylo Ren animatronics. Oh my gosh, it's very, very hard to pick the best aspect of Rise of the Resistance. Those animatronic figures of Kylo Ren, absolutely unreal. But I think I'm gonna have to stick with the finale as my favorite part of Rise of the Resistance. And that is my favorite aspect of every single attraction within Disneyland Park. Do you agree with everything I've mentioned? Do you disagree? Please let me know down in the comments below. Please like this video, and of course, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you so much, everybody, and I will catch you later.